We now have Tropical Storm Idalia as of the latest update from the National Hurricane Center. Maximum sustained winds are 40 miles per hour as this thing moves very slowly to the east, only at about 2 miles per hour. And this thing is definitely starting to get its act together, to say the least. There's a lot of convection to the east of the Yucatan Peninsula, southwest of Cuba, and you can definitely tell that this system is starting to have some of that counterclockwise rotation in the the low to mid levels of the atmosphere. So this is just a sign that this system is starting to get its act together. Let's take a look at the latest forecast track from the National Hurricane Center, and as I've been saying over the last few days, this thing will be heading into the very warm waters of the eastern Gulf of Mexico, and because of that, hurricane strength is expected as early as Tuesday afternoon, as this thing is approaching the western coast of Florida, and then eventually making landfall potentially as a Category 1 hurricane, or possibly even a Category 2 hurricane as we head into your Wednesday morning, and then once it finishes off Florida, it will head into the northeastern parts, impacting portions like Jacksonville, into southeastern portions of Georgia, like the Savannah area, and then almost riding up the coast of South Carolina. So for all of you there in Edisto Beach, Edisto Island, Charleston, South Carolina, Mount Pleasant, as we head into Georgetown, and then eventually as we get into the PD for like Myrtle Beach, Pawleys Island, North Myrtle Beach, and then eventually Wilmington as well. This will be heading into your area as we head into the second half of the work week. Now, don't focus on the fact that this thing will be a hurricane. This thing will be a tropical storm for the majority of its life after it makes landfall, which means that the majority of us will likely be seeing wind gusts upwards of 30 to 50, maybe even 60 miles per hour. So this thing will be a very dangerous storm, to say the least, especially for people that live in northwestern Florida, because considering how warm the waters are, this thing could undergo something that is called rapid intensification, which pretty much means that the system could intensify 35 miles per hour within a 24-hour period, and that is not uncommon to see with these hurricanes that are heading into the very warm waters of the Gulf of Mexico. Here's a look at these spaghetti plots, pretty much every single model giving us their own opinion of what they think that this storm will do, and like I showed you in my video yesterday, the majority of the models are agreeing exactly on where this system will be going into the eastern Gulf of Mexico, coming on shore along the Panhandle or the Big Bend of Florida, northwest of Tampa, going right over the northern part of Florida into southeastern portions of Georgia, east of the I-95 corridor. They're in South Carolina, so coastal communities like Charleston, Myrtle Beach, I cannot stress this enough. Please be sure you're watching the system very, very closely, and then eventually impacting portions of eastern North Carolina as well. The fact of the matter is, all these models are coming into a very good agreement of where the system will go. So that tells us that forecast confidence is very, very high. Now, I mentioned rapid intensification. Once again, this just means that the storm will be increasing winds of at least 35 miles per hour within a 24-hour period. And like I just said a minute ago, this is not uncommon to see with these storms that are heading into the very warm waters of the Gulf of Mexico. And the reason that this thing could undergo rapid intensification is because of how warm these waters are. Typically, in order for a tropical storm or a hurricane to form, you have to have water temperatures of at least 80 to 85 degrees Fahrenheit. And as you can see, these water temperatures in the Caribbean and the Gulf of Mexico are plenty warm for this. As I'm pretty sure all of you know, the water temperatures have been so warm over the last few months. So this is almost like candy for tropical storms and hurricanes, to say the least. Now, as far as when we could start to be seeing those tropical storm force winds, for those of you who live in southern Florida, I would guess that this is going to be starting for you around Tuesday morning. As we head into your landfall time period, that'll be around Tuesday at 8 o'clock. For those of you who live in my state of South Carolina, in the southern part near Charleston and the Savannah area in Georgia, this will be starting for your Wednesday morning and then continuing on for your Wednesday afternoon, especially as we head into portions of eastern North Carolina as well. And then before I end this video, here's a quick look at what the forecast calls as far as rainfall goes from the National Hurricane Center. A decent area of 4 to 6 inches of rain right along the western coast of Florida from Tampa up through Tallahassee, with pockets upwards of 6 to 10 inches. And just know that while this is forecasted, I would not be surprised if some areas see upwards of 10, even potentially around a foot, 1 feet of rain. And then eventually, as we head into portions of Georgia and South Carolina, we're still forecasting upwards of 2 to 6 inches of rain. So this is a very beneficial rainmaker, to say the least. There is a lot to watch out for with this storm. Thankfully, we still have a few days to watch the system, but please be sure that you are taking advantage of the time that we have ahead of this storm. Nowhere to go, like I just said. and just have your plan in place. God forbid you do have to evacuate. So that's going to be it for this video. Please be sure, if you have any questions, you message me on Facebook, or you comment down in the comment section below. I'm not sure if I'll be able to do a video tomorrow, considering I do have class, but I will still be posting the latest advisory on my Facebook page. Hopefully I will be able to do a video, but if not, be sure that you're watching your local news station as well as my page for all the information on Tropical Storm Idalia.